Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ivy Bar and this is my new series called Cup of Crime. If you are obsessed with true crime just like me, then I highly recommend you make yourself a nice cup of coffee and subscribe to my channel, as I'm planning on releasing new videos every week. Before we start, let me just say that this video contains mentions of sexual abuse. So if that's something that you would not like to hear about today, it's totally fine. Take care of yourself, and I'm sure we can meet in my next video. Okay, let's now get to the story. Today's case took place in Peterborough, which is in Cambridgeshire in England. Peterborough is a city about 76 miles or 122 kilometers north of London, with a population of about 183,000 people. It was summer 2020, therefore it is quite a recent case. Bernadette Walker was born on 13th of December 2002, so she was a Sagittarius. At the time of the events, she was just 17 years old. She lived in a house together with her mom, 38-year-old Sarah Walker, and her stepfather, 50-year-old Scott Walker. The parents were not married, although they still lived at the same address, and Sarah was already in a relationship with another man called Chris O'Connell. Bernadette was described as a happy girl. Some of her friends described her as something of a goth. She liked dyeing her hair, and she was a bit socially awkward. Her brother Anthony said she was somewhat shy, but once she got to know people, she was really bubbly and kind and loving. And she was studying photography at a local college and was really good at art. Bernadette was sometimes referred to as B, so that's what I'm gonna call her throughout this video. So Bernadette was reported missing on July 21st in an early morning call from Sarah, who told the police that her daughter has been missing for 3 days. However, she waited to report her missing because they apparently texted her before saying that she was staying with her ex-boyfriend Luke, and Sarah believed her.
Hiya, it's Mrs. Walker. I'm just ringing to report my 17-year-old daughter missing. Well, she ran away on Saturday lunchtime, but I knew where she was until she started messaging like 1 a.m. Yesterday morning.
Sarah decided not to check with Luke nor his parents because Bernadette had run away before, and that's when she actually did stay with Luke, so she believed her this time as well. However, the teenager was last seen alive on July 18th after Scott had picked her up from her grandparents' house after a family dispute. He claimed that he stopped to roll a cigarette, and that's when Bernadette had run away, leaving her rucksack behind. A couple days later, after they ran away, her brother Anthony texted Luke to ask about his sister's whereabouts. And that's when they all found out that Bernadette had never been with him and Luke had no idea where she was. When that news came to light, Sarah decided to check with best friend Chloe, and Chloe also didn't know where Bernadette was at the time. A massive search was launched, and the family was posting desperate appeals on social media, begging Bernadette to come home. However, the teenager was nowhere to be found. In the meantime, police had been making some gruesome discoveries. They found out that before picking up the teenager in the morning on July 18th, Scott went to lockup garages owned by his parents in Walton. He disconnected his phone from the network, and once it was reconnected, the first phone call he made was to Sarah, and it lasted about 9 minutes. In the following 48 hours after Bernadette's disappearance, both Scott and Sarah made multiple visits to the lockup garages as well as to Colbert, a rural area in Lincolnshire, in the dead of night. The parents were both arrested 1.5 months later after the police launched a no-body murder investigation. Now let's go back to the beginning and let me tell you what the police had discovered. On July 16th, Bernadette made a very brave decision. After years of being silent, she sat down with her mom Sarah and told her that the man she had been calling father had been abusing her, touching her inappropriately, and spying on her in a bathroom with the hidden cameras. Unfortunately, Sarah's reaction was not what Bernadette was hoping for. Instead of standing up for her baby and trying to protect her, Sarah called Bernadette a liar. And even more so, she threatened to kill Bernadette if she told the police. In the late evening the next day, Bernadette went to stay with her paternal grandparents so that things at home could calm down. And in early morning on July 18th, Scott leaves the house at 10:25, drives to the lock-up garages, and then arrives at his parents' house. He then picks up Bernadette, and they both drive away in his silver Mercedes. Shortly after they set off, the man's phone gets disconnected from the network, and it reconnects about 1.5 hours later, around 1 p.m. He then calls Sarah, and they talk for about 9 minutes. Right after that, Sarah texts her boyfriend saying B had run off, and literally 30 seconds later, Bernadette's Gmail account password gets changed. And guess what? The new password was being set up at Century Square, which is exactly where the teenager lived, and the new password, it was referencing Chris O'Connell and his birthday. You know, Chris, the mother's boyfriend. During the afternoon, there was a message from Bernadette's Instagram account to her friend saying, "Hi, it's me. I ran away. I don't want to be in trouble for lying." Also, there were multiple messages exchanged between Bernadette and Sarah's phone, where Bernadette was saying that she ran away, she was asking for forgiveness, and she was going to stay at Luke's house. After 2 p.m., a few more phone calls are exchanged between Sarah and Scott. Scott then goes back to the garages and then returns home. After 6 p.m., both Scott's and Sarah's phone leave the house together with Bernadette's phone. Soon after, Sarah buys a phone top-up voucher, a SIM card, and milk in Westwood. Right after that, the same top-up voucher is used on Bernadette's phone, which then Scott calls, leaves it open for 33 seconds, and after that, Bernadette's phone is disconnected. The next day, Scott makes a few more trips to the lock-up garages, and he also visits Gunthorpe, which is a village about an hour drive away from his home. He arrives there at 3 a.m., and stays for about 2 hours. After midnight on July 20th, both Sarah and Scott go to the lock-up garages again, and they both switch off their phones. In the meantime, B's phone reconnects to the network, a few messages are sent from her phone to her friends, and then the phone gets disconnected for the last time at 1:29 a.m., and it has never been found since. Then at 4 a.m., both Sarah's and Scott's phone are reconnected to the network at their home address. Finally, July 21st is when the teenager was reported missing. Later, her diary and her backpack were found in the Walton lock-up garages. And now let me read you a quote from the diary. "Told my mom about my dad and the abuse. She called me a liar and threatened to kill me if I told the police. What kind of parent wouldn't believe their daughter?" Despite Sarah's part in the murder, her mother, Pat Dickinson, has described the mom and the teen as best friends. The 61-year-old thinks that Scott persuaded her daughter to do what she did, or otherwise she would have never done it. She said she will be sticking by her daughter despite her crime, and that Scott was a horrible man who deserved to rot in hell. Bernadette's brother, Anthony Walker, also believes that his mom was persuaded or forced to lie. However, Judge McGowan, who was sentencing the pair, said she was sure that Sarah Walker was the guiding mind behind the detail of the plan to cover up Bernadette's murder. Scott told the jurors that Bernadette's allegations of sexual abuse were untrue, and he denies having anything to do with her disappearance. On Monday, 26th of July 2021, after a 6-week trial, Scott Walker was found guilty of killing 17-year-old Bernadette at Cambridge Crown Court by an unanimous verdict. He was also found guilty of 2 counts of perverting the course of justice. On the 10th of September 2021, Scott was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 32 years. Sarah Walker was also found guilty of perverting the course of justice, and she was sentenced to a total of 6 years in prison with a minimum of 3 years. The police tried to urge Scott to tell them what he did with his daughter's body. However, her whereabouts remain unknown to this day. A number of Bernadette's friends and family, including her brother, continued the search in hopes that she may one day be found. That is everything I've got for you today. What do you think about this case? Do you think that Scott killed Bernadette? Do you think that Sarah helped cover up her murder? Do you think that the 6-year prison sentence is fair for Sarah, or does she deserve more? Does she deserve less? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please take care, stay safe, and don't be afraid to speak up for yourselves. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.